In this episode, I drop down from the mountains to the town of Dunedin, go to the beach, and still manage to find a couple of tracks. Morning. Nearly got blown away last night. There was so much wind coming, these massive gusts just on sunset, a lot of dust storm ones, and then through the night I got 2 blowdowns with a 10 actually. The poles fold and flatten out, but because I had put on large rocks and put the bike in the way, it seemed to help a little bit. Still some birds. The birds mostly through the night making noise, but it wasn't too bad. So this morning I'm going to head to Dunedin direction. There's something I want to see on the way. As I mentioned yesterday, I've got to charge up all the batteries, do some washing and that, so I'll find somewhere to actually stay, a dodgy motel or cabin in a campsite or something. We'll work that out when we get there. I think it's about 3.5 hours to get there. I'll probably stop if I see something to take a picture of, something to eat along the way. And then, there's the marbles. I want to see the marbles. See if we can find them. So, time to pack up again and move off. So while the ducks did their duck thing, I started pulling down the tent. I've been dreading this bit all morning. Yep, boots are still wet inside. Does the motel have a hairdryer? Is that okay on leather? Oh well, we'll find out. I just pressed on it. Water's squishing into my sock from below. The joys of riding through rivers. Whoops, I didn't know the road was closed. There was no sign at the other end. How vibrant is the colour of this water? I couldn't pass up those razor light just peeking through the clouds onto the mountainside. This could be a very long day if I keep stopping for views like that. I rode off through this dry brown landscape. The only exception was where it was being irrigated for farming. Seems to be becoming a daily ritual, having to stop and put on wet weather pants. Shoes off, wet weather on, stumble around a bit. My balance needs some serious work. Cover the camera bag, and we're on the road again. I rode up beside another stunning lake, this one being Lake Avamore. I can imagine there's probably some really good trails somewhere around this lake. Up ahead was a mountain ridge covered in a fine mist of rain, with the Waitaki River running at its base. The river widened into Lake Waitaki. Then the lake ended at the Waitaki Hydro Station. made it to the spot to check out the marbles. On the beach there are large round rocks, which are called the Moeraki Boulders. They are a type of sediment rock structure known as a concretion. Strangely, the rocks are formed from organic matter that typically falls into the bottom of a lagoon. Then a chemical reaction begins where the organic matter diffuses into the surrounding mud rock over a long period. The rock stops expanding once the organic matter is all used up. It's a little bit touristy up at the entry, but on the beach it's just like giant marbles just scattered along the beach. They're probably about 2 meters in diameter, some of the bigger ones. To get some scale, this one's about 1.5 meters high. So maybe 2 if it's into the dirt. It is a really nice beach anyway, with a couple of headlands. Just a little wave coming in. But yeah, good break off the road. Haven't got too far to go till Dunedin though. I had made it to the city of Dunedin. I pulled into the Dunedin Holiday Park, and they had the perfect accommodation for me. After I grabbed the key, I went to check it out. Look at that. Well, I think that might work perfectly. It's almost big enough to fit the bike in it. How good's this? Just my size. There is some good things about it. They have washing facilities just there. Laundromat. Then inside, press this button. Hot air, so I can put my boots under that. It's just a heater, but it'll dry my boots out. There is 2 power points. Make that 3. Winning all round. It is. You couldn't swing a cat in here, but that's okay. It's a double bed and a top bed. Living the dream. Even got a little porch. There was a hotel motel thing, but the bike was right on the street, so at least this is behind a gate in here. Not that anybody would steal, just in case. I put everything on charge. I got my gear off the bike and put out all the stuff into the sun that needed to dry. After putting the washing on in the laundromat, I thought I'd check out the beach. There was some swell, but no decent banks across this section of beach. It had been a cruisy day, only riding for about 5 hours. So to get as much recovery as possible, I had an early night. Morning. Slept pretty well on the bunk last night. I feel like I've recovered. No sore bits, all's good. And it was about 6 degrees this morning. It's about 8 now. Just leaving it a little longer today just because I can and there's room. And then I am packing away, so I've still got to pack my boots. Got to put the shoelaces back in. I've let them dry. Hopefully they'll stay dry for a couple more days till I find another river to cross probably. Everything is clean, so that's good. I'm clean. Hot showers are pretty epic. Gonna pack the bike. My actual panniers have slidden. They've come to a nice rest spot a little further down than when I set up, but they haven't moved for a couple of days, so I think I'm just going to go with that. Today we're going to cruise along the coast, seeing we've been in the mountains for a while. Just going to have a look along the coast. There's a lighthouse that looks pretty cool. Might get to see seals, I don't know. Apparently they're everywhere, but I haven't seen one yet because I haven't been on the coast, so we'll see that too. But other than that, I'm going to finish packing up and push off. I packed the sleeping bag, put the armour back into my riding pants, put the tank bag back on, charging gear back in the panniers, food, clothes, rolled down the pannier tops and clipped them up. Then put on the back bag, which has the tent and sleeping gear, and I was done. Bike's all packed, so time to leave the little shack cabin and we're on the road. I made my way through the south side of Dunedin and then out into the countryside. The first place I wanted to check out was Nugget Point Lighthouse, further south along the coast. Look at that, the camper vans are travelling in packs now. I turned towards the coast at Balclutha. The road came up to Kaka Point. Then literally ran beside the beach. In some parts, the road was only metres from the sand. Okay, if they've got their own sign, they do exist. So we're on the hunt for lions, the sea variety. I then saw another sign that said, driving on the beach, we have some rules. You must drive in a safe way, not in the sand dunes, and not above the high water mark. Easy enough to follow, so I went onto the beach. I had a cruise up the beach and checked out some caves at the end. I continued along the coast a bit further and through some small beach homes. This is a beautiful stretch of road. I made it onto the headland where the lighthouse was. But the last section would be on foot. Parked the bike at the bottom. There's about a 900 metre walk to the lighthouse with a very, very steep drop off. How steep? That steep. Straight down. A little bit of a tunnel. The lighthouse was built in 1870. Originally, the lighthouse was powered by an oil burner. In 1949, the oil lamp was replaced with an electrical lamp powered by a local diesel generator. The generator was replaced in the 1960s by a connection to the mains grid. The lighthouse was solarised in May 2020 and now has no mains power. So it has gone through 4 different power sources over its lifetime. I wonder if it will get a 5th. It's getting warm hiking. I wasn't sure if the close-up shot was good or coming back here and using a long lens. So we'll see if either of those worked in getting the lighthouse. And just down here, some seals playing in their own little pool. I made it back to the bike, and as a bonus, everything was still on it. I left the headland, down past the beautiful coastal road, then turned south again. I came across a side road, so I took it. I wasn't actually sure where it went, but it was dirt, so that was good enough for me. I ended up on another empty beach, which I did a quick lap around. And then headed back. I spent the next 2.5 hours riding along the coast, through beautiful rolling hills, across bridges, occasionally popping out next to a beach, as I made my way down towards a place called the Bluff.
had made it to the Bluff, which seems quite an industrial town with a large port, but surprisingly, a lot of artwork around. This is Stirling Point, the end of New Zealand's Highway 1, which starts in the very north of the North Island at Cape Ranger. So there's not much further south than the Antarctic, besides a couple of islands. What a cool sculpture. It's like the end of a chain link for an anchor. It's starting to rain, so I might just get my stuff under cover and head back towards that town and then try and look for a campsite for the night. I made my way through the biggest town in the south, Invercargill. Then north, where I'd found a couple of free campsites on the app Wikicamp, where I could pitch a tent. It looked like there were storms about to roll in, so I had to get to one of these spots as quickly as possible to get the tent up. The first site wasn't great and was on the side road, so I pushed on to the next one. The second site looked a lot better, and as a bonus, the grass looked kind of soft. So I've made it to the second campsite. The first one I thought would probably get hit by rain pretty quickly, but by the time I got to here it was already spitting. I have found a tree. It is leaning that way, so I'm camping this side. I'm just hoping the tree will give me some protection from the rain, so it doesn't make me too wet or the ground too wet. I better get on with it and get this thing set up. Tent's all set up. It is raining, but under the tree it's not as wet. It's quite noisy along here, but hopefully that'll die off by the evening. But yeah, good grass. Not a bad spot at all. Just had a quick look. There's something else just behind. I'll show you. Now this would be a good camp spot. A little quieter, lots more protection. Some people may say spooky, but I like it. Look at these trees. It's like lots of smaller trees all clumped together and twisted like rope or wire, how you get strands and strands of wire, put them together to make a cable. It seems to be a track, so to camp or put the tent up in the middle of the track and someone's trying to hike or whatever they do through here. Don't think it's going to be around, but yeah, might be a bit on the nose. Also the bridge, I don't know if it would hold all the weight. It looks a little old and dodgy. I know you're dying to know what's for dinner tonight. Don't worry. It's a tin and a half pears I got from the last place I was at. Slightly dinged. Still tastes good, I hope. It's just going dark and the rain is set in. It's only drizzling, but it's wet out there. So far the tent's not wet, so hopefully that lasts all night. Same with the bike, seat's still dry. We'll see how it is in the morning. Well, on that note, I'm going to get back in the tent and get to bed.
Oh my love, you're such a fragile thing, I know. And with the winter comes the ice, the snow.
In the next episode, I ride through the forest to the incredible Milford Sound. I have some difficulty on a muddy track, then end the day on another stunning lake.